Hello everybody, welcome to my nighttime biking vlog. I'm probably gonna post this on YouTube just because I'm kind of gonna be rambling, or at least I anticipate to, because I'm not very good at organizing my thoughts. But I guess this might be a little practice of it. And I'll try to to get some good clips for Instagram or TikTok or whatever as well, if I have interesting takes on things. Um, but yeah, I guess like the first thing which I wanted to address is like I kind of wanted to explain more about my perspective of why I think that individual boycotting is not useful and that people shouldn't really worry about doing it too much. Um I think that people usually do it for one of three reasons. They're either one, worried about the environmental footprint, two, they want to like cause some kind of social change, um or three, they think um that it's not useful to them, or that it makes you stupider. And I think that like all three of these reasons are like kind of valid, but like also kind of missing the point. So I'll try to walk through them. So the first one is environmental footprint, right? So I think that for this one, there's a lot of misinformation about like the actual facts of how big that footprint is. For example, like for some reason, a lot of people seem to think that a singular prompt takes up like a whole water bottle or something like that worth of water. But but in actuality, it's about 5 drops of water. For like popular consumer models, and for the average consumer, non-developer, like you're really not going to be using it that frequently. I would think where like your impact is like actually important at all. And of course it does add up with a lot of people, but like still the footprint is like relatively small for what I'll explain is like uh later is like in my opinion in like a relatively significant productivity boost. And like there are so many more like industries which are as useless and which consume way more water and which benefit way less people. Which I think that if you're worried about the environment, then like those are the big fish that you should be thinking about more. For example, like golf courses consume like way more water than all data centers. I think someone should check my facts there, but I'm pretty sure that is true. And golf courses only benefit a small fraction of society, and are completely for leisure too. Um, and uh, data centers can, in theory, benefit everybody, and in theory, um, everybody can benefit from a boost in productivity. Um, Especially currently with how AI is like relatively uh, democratized. Um, Furthermore, I think that like the general footprint will only like I guess like not necessarily get better, but like I think that on margin it will get better because AI is actually pretty good at um making stuff like making our power grid um more efficient. I think that like in general it will play a pretty decent role in in reducing environmental footprint in the long run. Well, I mean, that's like not necessarily true. Like, of course, like it's going to get worse over time, but like it's also going to help a lot too. Um, and I think like it's not like oh man, this is where I get too wrapped up into my arguments. But I think that like, of course, the um the optimization the optimization will probably not outweigh the costs, but it's like still something to consider, right? Man, I said that so poorly. In addition, um, let's see. All right. Um, so a lot of the complaints about data centers are pretty anecdotal, which makes sense because the actual global footprint of data centers is pretty low, and this is like not just AI focused data centers. This is all data centers. There's it's like relatively low. Um, but there's like a lot of anecdotal accounts of like um data centers being brought up in like causing like pretty bad problems for local communities, which I do think is a pretty big problem. But that is because a lot of the impacts of data centers are localized, and I haven't really like looked into this that much about like um how do we like avoid that or like pick better places to build data centers, but that seems like more of an implementation issue than like an and than like a problem with data centers in general. um but yeah, I do see that as like a problem, but it's like not really an argument uh, like that much against AI IMO, just because like um the environmental footprint is still pretty small. um I was like that's why like in general the footprint is pretty overstated, and I think that especially on the individual consumer level, um we are next to negligible. No, yeah, we are actually negligible. We are just a rounding error. Like um I, I think that this is more of like a corporation issue than it is an individual one. Uh, which of course then we want to bring social change, right? But I think that uh, which of course to clarify, I think is a pretty good thing. But this is why I don't think that, like, personally boycotting it does anything towards that social change. I think that, like, there are a lot of things that we can do to bring about social change, like talking about it, talking to policymakers about it, um, bringing forth um, good facts and like good good data about how AI will probably continue to harm us and, like, harm society, harm our brains and ways of thinking. Um, but that being said, like, I don't think that, like a personal boycott on it for, like, just for the purpose of boycotting it, just like against the principle of it, is like really helpful at all. Uh, because what it does is like it reduces demand. Um, it reduces demand on the margin, for like us individual consumers, right? But but how do I put this? It doesn't really seem like to me that that's what any of the uh frontier labs um and AI companies like really care about. What it seems like to me is that this was never like really about us as the um individual consumers, because I think I might turn around soon. Because it never like really stood to benefit us as much as it would corporations, especially once like their goal of AGI is achieved, right? Of course, it can and does help us, but like I think that the majority of the demand is just from corporations and the race to AGI, and like uh VCs and like so on and so forth. Um, I, I think that a lot of the demand is like just wanting to make as much money as possible for these companies, which of course that makes sense, right? Um, but what I'm saying is that like um like our sentiment doesn't really do anything to them. They don't really care about what we think unless we actually like do something with that sentiment. Like try like try to enact policy change or something like that, right? Um because I don't think that like AI was really ever that popular with us, and it's continuously gone less popular. And like I think that more than half of I think that like more than half of Gen Z like actively dislikes AI. Um but that doesn't really seem to be changing anything. Um what would be changing something is like us actually trying to um get more involved in policy, or uh just like building like like a better, oh man, I feel like I'm not really explaining this very well. It's kind of vague. But just like doing more than just disliking it. Like, for example, talking about it, especially to policymakers. Um, Working in AI safety, there's so little people working in AI safety compared to how many people like care about it, or claim to care about it. Um, which, oh man, I think I'm gonna get some backlash for this, but like it almost makes it seem that this is some kind of performative activism. Um, not on like really mean to bash people for talking about it. I think that talking about it is really great, but um too often I see stuff which is like concerned about the wrong thing. Well, I guess that's subjective because my perspectives aren't absolute, of course. Um but like uh talking about misleading data, or like sometimes just like inaccurate data, bringing not really well thought out perspectives, and kind of just like in general, uh taking away from the arguments which are um actually important, in my opinion. Like I think that obsessing too much over water usage is like, not really, no, I don't really think it's that useful, in my opinion. And it's what a lot of people are doing, which maybe I'm wrong here, but um this is just how I see it right now. I'm always open to uh dude, I was about to say update my beliefs, update my priors. Oh no. I promise I'm not an EA tech bro. But yeah, and then I think I talked about that one pretty extensively. And then the third, oh, sorry, I kind of got caught up in like looking at the scenery and the buildings around me. Um, all right, and the third reason why people are boycotting AI is because they don't think it's helping them at all, or they think it's like making them more stupid, and it's making their skills atrophy. And I think that this is honestly a pretty good take, but it's a bit oversimplified in my opinion, because it's kind of wrapping all tasks under this umbrella of I'm gonna need this for the future. And this is kind of, oh, people are popping firecrackers, I think. And like, um how can I explain this? So think about when we first invented the calculator. um before that, uh, people in general were like probably pretty good at doing long division and like all of this like super complex arithmetic by hand. Um, and now people probably suck at it, and that's honestly fine. Um, it doesn't really matter to me just because like that task doesn't really necessitate anything like of human intuition, if that makes sense. And this is also kind of a blurry line, but I think it holds true for a lot of like so-called intelligent tasks, which we're like trying to automate with AI. Like, and I think that of course it is true that when you delegate the when you delegate an intellectual task to someone else or to something else, then of course without practice you're gonna get worse at it, right? um I think that this is of course true. So I think that like you definitely do have to be really intentional um about what kind of things you ask AI to uh to do for you. But this like also kind of means that the nature of these tasks are going to change. For example, for a software engineer, it's like not really as important to like write good unit tests or to like know the very specific implementations of certain algorithms. Um, Rather, it's more important to know um, how to like design good systems and how to like uh, build solutions for things that people actually want, right? I think that like um, when you think about like building good products, it's like not really just like how like in quotations perfect that product is. It's a lot about how tailored it is for the human experience, which is something that I don't really think that AIs will ever really be better than above us, just because regardless of how intelligent something is, it's like never really going to understand our experiences. um we can be so much more intelligent than say a dog can, but um can we really understand like what it actually wants and like what would actually make it the most happy better than it? Actually, I don't really know if that's a great analogy. We might have to scrap that one. No, I mean it seems like okay. I just like haven't really thought it through that much. But yeah, I think that to summarize my third point, um, of course, it's gonna make you worse at doing certain things, but this also means that the nature of the things that you do is going to change. Um, oh, and like why it's in general useful for productivity. Right. Well, I think that like there still are a lot of tasks which are intelligence based, which don't really require that much human discretion, or like taste, or like that even want taste or discretion at all. For example, when you're trying to give an objective summary on something, or when you're trying to write some unit tests, for example, um, there's like not really that much human intuition that goes into this, and that should be into this. I think. Um, and it can be pretty decent at these tasks because of those reasons. This doesn't necessarily mean that, like, it can start to automate every task. I mean, I think that it can certainly attempt to mimic it, but like, which like might have mixed results, but it's never really going to like be as good as human expression as we are. It's like never really going to um like have that intuition unless like it's just like wildly more intelligent than us, that it can just like um simulate all of our thinking perfectly, which, I mean, I'm not gonna really say that it's impossible, because that seems like about like outside the bounds of um what I can even comprehend. But if it happens, then like that's in like a far distant future. Actually, that might not even be that far distant of a future. But yeah, um, so I think that it can generally help make you more productive at tasks which require no or very small amounts of human discretion or taste. Yeah. So these are the three. So yeah. These are the three reasons why like a lot of people have been boycotting AI on an individual level, and why I think that they all don't really make that much sense. Well, okay, they all make sense, but they're all kind of disillusioned, in my opinion. I think, yeah, and I think that like, of course, you need to be very intentional with how you how you are using it, but that is, of course, with all tools. But honestly, it is a bit predatory, because I feel like, yeah, it definitely is predatory, but I don't think that it makes sense to like not use it yourself on principle, because it can make you very productive at doing whatever you want to do, including um anti AI work, which I think we need some more people doing that. Oh, and that's also kind of hypocritical, because I'm kind of just traveling and not really doing anything myself. Oh, maybe I should talk about my perspective on personal fulfillment versus doing what you think is the best thing for the world. But I'm kind of sick of talking, so maybe another day. Oh, dude, I kind of want to talk about my general perspective of AI and what I think is going to happen to the world. That is probably more important than what I just talked about, which is like kind of random, and it's like kind of just because I saw some things that people were commenting on my videos, but it's like not even really that great to talk about, or like important, because it's like so nuanced, and like doesn't really matter that much what I say. But what is more important is like sharing my worldview, which I think No, whatever. Okay, I'm just gonna like check the map, and probably bike back to the apartment at this point in time. Oh, hello everybody. Um, yeah, thank you for watching. If you made it all the way through, I hope it was interesting and you expanded your perspective. I don't really want to say like learn something, because I don't like really sure that many like facts or like important things. Well, I guess I did in some senses. Anyways, I'm just kind of rambling, so yeah, thank you for watching, I guess, or listening. I don't really know how great of a watch it was, just because you were sitting in my pouch on my belly. Um, and it's all super dark, but maybe I'll try to do this sometime in the day too. Oh, thank you for watching. Um, for clarification, I am pretty anti AI, but I just want to share a more balanced perspective, as I think that a lot of people are kind of misinformed, even if they share the same perspective as me. Oh, here, let me turn the camera around. I don't know how to. Double tap, click this button, that took a picture. I'm just gonna face it towards me. Thanks for watching, everybody, and yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. I'll try to post some clips from this. Or, well, honestly, I don't really like editing. I actually, that, uh, I was about to curse. That stuff is annoying. But thank you, everybody. Maybe I'll do something like this in the future. Talk to you later. Peace.